get away from every little thing just to try to make it through.
This is a fun.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about my
That's it. Why is there fun?
every detail in my
What do you guys think? Well,
but it doesn't really
what do you think?
nothing matters, so
$5?
Sure.
What do you think?
I don't know. 15?
Say what's on your mind.
I don't know. 5?
Gleason, say what's on your mind.
$5?
catch my breath.
For real?
I've been trying every
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. $5?
got nothing left.
Yeah. Do you know what that means?
No.
It means there's going to be another baby.
Wow.
I've been
Do you want a baby brother or sister?
Yeah, I want a baby sister. I want a baby sister.
everything I have.
Are you guys excited? Are you happy?
Everything else, we were talking about turning the movie room into 2 more bedrooms.
Is it a
Oh,
girl?
no. Turn
You guys
the
are
light
like-
back on now.
What are you gonna do with Glaciers
Is
over
it a
room?
girl? Is it a girl?
Well, we don't know what Jesus is giving us until a little while from now. You're going to be a big sister.
Be me, what the hell am I supposed to do?
Well, hey, I'm not exactly used to doing this. It's been a minute. So, big news. We're pregnant. We're not pregnant. I'm pregnant. You know, you just contributed.
But I ain't got nothing left.
So I just,
Now there's so much more to this life, but it's hard to see.
I just had my OB.
Yeah, I tried my best, but nothing turns out right.
Get myself together.
God, I need you now so dearly. 'Cause I've been
I have my OB appointment.
trying to catch my breath. I've been trying everything I can. I ain't got nothing left.
Okay, so I'm trying to film this now for the second time, but now I'm getting ready to talk about all this sensitive stuff, and my neighbor just came outside and he's in his garage. And okay, so I showed you all the other videos, and I just kind of wanted to give a timeline and give some, I don't know, some hindsight and how I feel now and what's going on now. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to do this pretty quick. I know I just paused like 5 times, but I have to get the kids from school soon, and once they get home, there'll be no talking about this. And it's nice outside right now, and it's the middle of November, so I don't know, I'm just gonna try to get through this. So I'll start from the beginning. We found out that I was pregnant. It was October 9th when I took my first test, although that was a Saturday. I would say from that Tuesday on, I kept having a surefire sign for me with almost all of my pregnancies. I have crazy, vivid dreams, and that's normally like, okay. So I told Tony that Saturday morning, like, well, I had another one, like I had another crazy dream. And he's like, you need to go take a test. And sorry, I hate when people play with their hair in the videos, but this is just like, maybe a nervous habit. So I told Tony, and he's like, you need to go take a test. And for whatever reason, I always have tests at home. I don't know why I do, I just do. And they're like the cheap, like dollar store kind, which I guess it doesn't matter. They work the same. So October 9th, that Saturday, I took a test that morning. Now I had to work. That was our anniversary weekend, but I had to shoot a wedding that weekend. So normally when I have those, I start work around 9 o'clock in the morning and get home at 9 o'clock at night, and I'm gone the entire day. So I woke up, we went downstairs, I went in the bathroom like totally ready to just blow it off and think like there's no way. And then a faint line showed up, and I called Tony and I'm like, get in here right now. And we both kind of looked at each other like, no way. And he's like, do you have another one? I'm like, I think so. So I did another one, and the line showed up quicker that time. And we were both kind of in shock. First of all, let me prerequisite this with saying Tony's been on TRT for 3.5 years. When he started taking this, it was his doctor told him, like, hey, if you get on this, you won't be able to have kids anymore. Like, this will shut you down. A lot of people, they're shut down after 6 weeks, and even if they get off of it, it takes them years, if at all, they can ever have kids again. And we thought we were done, so it wasn't a big deal to us that he got on it. So we were, he's 6 weeks, it shuts you down. He's been on it for 3.5 years. We thought there's no way. But there was a way. And yeah, so, okay, we found out on October 9th. We just kept it to ourselves. We didn't tell anybody. I called my doctor, made an appointment. The earliest that my doctor, who is a high-risk specialist, could get me in was November 29th. And if you don't know, with my first son, I had preterm labor, which led to later on I developed preeclampsia. Preeclampsia wasn't caught because I didn't have enough protein in my urine for it to be considered preeclampsia, which it turned out to be severe. I had right after I delivered him, I was in labor for 26 hours and then had an emergency C-section because my vitals started looking not great. And so after I delivered him, I went back in that waiting room, just like a recovery room from surgery, because I had C-section. I had a nurse come in freaking out. She's like, can you breathe right now? And I'm like, well, now just think about it, I can't. And from there it just kind of all went black for me. I had heart failure, liver failure, and kidney failure. And yeah, it was a rough time. But after that I went on to have 4 pregnancies and 3 more babies. I had a miscarriage a year before I went to the doctor to have Lainey, or went to the doctor to find out that I was, definitely pregnant with Lainey. Okay, so let's go back on to the timeline here of events. So October 18th, I started having weird heart palpitations, and I called my OB's office, and they're like, you need to go to the emergency room. And I was like, yeah, right. With what time? Like, I have 4 other kids. There's no time. So I blew it off, and finally there was a Thursday that my kids didn't have school. They were off for like the fall break right before like Halloween and stuff. I think the date of that was the 28th or 29th. They were off school, so I had my mother-in-law come sit with them, and I said, hey, I'm just having some weird heart stuff. I need to go to the ER. So she came and sat with them. They did an EKG. They looked over everything. Everything looked fine. They did a test there as well to ensure that I was pregnant, and of course came back fine. And because everything looked fine, I gained a little bit of confidence that baby was fine. So that weekend, we, like the video you'll see, we carved a number 5 in the pumpkin to tell the kids. Now we're just going to tell the kids, no one else, because although I was only 6-7 weeks at that point, I was already starting to show, and it was just obvious, and I was sick, and so we were ready to tell the kids. So we told them, and everybody was excited, and everyone was happy, and everyone was just, yeah, okay, so we told the kids. Fast forward, November 3rd, we were intimate, and afterwards I noticed that I was bleeding, and I had a full-blown meltdown, and I just knew at that point that something was wrong. So the next morning I called first thing to my OB's office, and I'm like, this is what's happening, this is what I just saw. And she talked me through it, and by the next morning it was just mainly spotting. There wasn't any, I wasn't bleeding like menstrual bleeding. It was just a little bit of spotting, a little bit of pink. And so she assured me that, you know, that's very common, that it's not a big deal, and that, you know, it's nothing to be worried about. Now if my bleeding picked up, or if my cramps picked up, or if I started to get menstrual cramps, then you know, as we went into the weekend, then I could go into the emergency room. So that was on a Thursday. Thursday was fine. Bleeding basically stopped. Friday I was fine. Bleeding was still a little bit spotty come Friday morning, and I tried to just dismiss it because I wasn't cramping, it wasn't a lot. So that Saturday, we had a packing party for church, and it's like a Christmas packing party to send gifts to kids all over the world, and that was from 9 to 12. And once we started leaving there, I started feeling really tired, like exhausted, and just I started to feel crampy, and I had to wear a pad there just because I was still seeing some spotting. And I would say by, I think it was probably 5 or 6 o'clock, my cramping started to intensify. By 8 o'clock, I was in agonizing pain. I was laying in the tub. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I was just miserable. I sat in that tub for probably 2 hours. And I remember getting out of the tub, and Lainey was laying in our bed with Tony and watching Frozen, and he was in and out checking on me. He was very insistent on me going to the hospital, and I didn't want to do it. Everybody's different, but for me personally, I had went through a miscarriage in 2015, and it was just, I had closure going through it and being able to pass it by myself. I didn't want to go to the hospital and have them take it out and then just not have that personal closure. I know it's probably not going to make sense to a lot of people, but that's just, that was just I just didn't want to go. So I went into bed with Lainey, and she said, I can't wait until it's almost my birthday so this baby can come out of your tummy so you don't hurt anymore. And it broke my heart. And later Tony asked, because I guess maybe I think maybe we told her in bed that that baby had gone to heaven, and I think we told her that before I got in the tub. And then when I got in the tub and was crying and in excruciating pain, and then I got out, I guess while I was in the tub, she had told Tony, she had asked him if I was going to go to heaven with the baby, and that it crushes my world to think that she was worried. And believe me, I was as quiet as I could possibly be, but somehow everything just echoes in the bathroom. So fast forward, I get out of the tub and I lay with her and I snuggle her until she falls asleep, but I'm still in excruciating pain. And at one point I just wanted to get up and go downstairs, get a drink. I didn't want Tony to get it for me, I just wanted to do it myself. And let me check the clock really quick. Okay, I gotta go soon, but my other 2 boys were downstairs. The middle 2, Cruz and Barrett, were downstairs getting waters. And we're just kind of like goofing around. It was Saturday night, it was like 10 o'clock, so they were still up. And when I came downstairs, I was still in my robe, my hair was still in a towel, and I was like hunched over, and I was just really feeling ill. And I remember asking them to go upstairs, and they just kind of like, they're little boys, they were just like, oh, okay, you have to tell them 5 times for anything. But I ended up having to yell at them, and I felt so guilty about it to get upstairs because I felt like I was going to pass out, and I didn't want them to see that. And they went upstairs and told Dad, and I had barely made it to the couch at that point. So Tony helped me get back upstairs. I got some water. I was able to fall asleep probably around, gosh, stupid bee, probably around 1 or 2. And then I woke up the next morning. Tony left before everybody woke up to go get stuff to make breakfast and to take care of the kids. And I was feeling okay in the morning, but by 10 o'clock, the excruciating pain came back. I took another bath and then laid in the shower for an extended period. I don't know, it was probably a couple hours until the water got cold. And then I got out and laid basically on the couch the entire day. My mom, it was also the anniversary of my brother passing away, and so my mom was asking if we were going to come over to her house, and I just, like, she had called and I just blurted out, like, we're not coming over after church because I'm in the middle of a miscarriage and I can't move. And I don't remember anything else. I fell asleep for most of the day, and then I remember she showed up at my house to bring food, and I was an absolute jerk. I was just such a jerk because, you know, the kids are rowdy, the house was a mess, I'm sitting there laying there in pain, and I'm just a more to myself person, and so I just felt like my space was invaded, and all she was trying to do was help and bring food, and I was just, I mean, thankfully she understood, but I was just not a nice person. So anyways, I called the doctor that Monday. So that was a Sunday that happened. Called the doctor on Monday. Doctor scheduled me for an ultrasound on, oh gosh, I gotta speed this up. Doctor scheduled me for an ultrasound on Thursday. Tuesday I had to go get blood work. When I went to the doctor on Thursday, they were able to do the vaginal ultrasound and see that everything had already made its way out. And that's basically when I told you about how my doctor said I cannot have any pregnancies, that she doesn't think it would be a good idea for me, that we were just going to, I mean, it was already too late at this point, so she was just going to do what she could to keep me safe. So I just had my OB. I can't get myself together. I had my OB appointment because, you know, I knew I miscarried, and I'll talk about that later, but we're picking up Lainey right now, and so I just don't have a lot of time before she gets in the car. So they had to do a vaginal ultrasound to make sure that I passed everything, and I did. And the pain I'm going to tell you guys about later, it could have come from just the miscarriage, like passing it itself, or it could have come from, I guess there was maybe a cyst on my ovary that ruptured, and that causes a lot of pain too. So, you know, I had asked, after Lainey, I knew that I wasn't supposed to, you know, have any more babies, but she's been saying that since Cruz, and so Cruz was 2 kids back now. You know, 4 kids if you count my miscarriages. But so we said, well, now that we have had this miscarriage, I thought I was fine with 4, but maybe I want number 5. And she went into great detail about how she doesn't think it's a good idea. nothing's for certain, but she explained to another lady that she was not the doctor of, but over at the hospital that I would deliver, she had so much scar tissue that I guess I don't remember. Tony is with me and he heard the whole thing, but I have a hard time, like, you know, I'm processing a million emotions in my mind, so I can't pay attention. But this lady, she had to have an 8-hour surgery because I guess her placenta, I don't know, I guess it attached to her colon, a lot of things that it wasn't supposed to attach to, so she had to go through an 8-hour surgery, ended up having a hysterectomy as well while she was in that 8-hour surgery. She you know, said this could be a possibility for me if I tried for I wasn't trying to have a baby number 5. I used a Dunkin' Donuts napkin. Heck. I wasn't trying for baby number 5, but when you think something's coming, then your attitude just changes, you know. I was content with 4, but now I feel like I'm missing. I think they're going to be coming out here in a second, so I'm going to try to compose myself, and when I compose myself, I'll tell you guys more about what had happened. And I think that's why I had such a hard time with this miscarriage, because I knew that after Lainey, or after the last miscarriage, like, I could still have another baby, and I did, and I had Lainey, and it was a complete surprise. I didn't expect to have, like, it was just a shock. I wasn't expecting it. With this one, I know that I can't, and yeah, it's just hard that you just don't get that rainbow, you know. So anyways, I disappeared from social media because I didn't tell anybody from the beginning, and then, you know, I feel like I knew so many people right now that are pregnant and having babies, and it's been hard, and I just feel like I didn't have anything to say. So every day I've just been getting messages and messages and messages, and I just didn't respond. So that's where I've been, and I'm finally starting to come to terms. When I left, I mean, you'll see some of this from the clips that I shared from the day of, but when I left the doctor's office, I was just in shambles, and I had so many things in my Amazon cart, and I just couldn't bring myself to delete until after, you know, it was final, like after I realized that this was it, and that I really was for sure having a miscarriage. I mean, I knew, but, you know, it wasn't verified, and I don't know. Anyways, yeah, so if you are going through this, I'm really sorry, and I know it hurts, and I know it sucks, and it's really hard when you see people, and I have 4 precious babies that I've been blessed with, and just I still have that, but it still hurts. So yeah, in closing, I will say I could not have went through this without my husband, both times, but especially this time. He has been so attentive to me, because, you know, I've just been in constant need for his affection and attention, and he just holds me and lets me cry it out. So yeah, I have a follow-up blood work appointment. So when I got my HCG or whatever that hormone is, I can't think off the top of my head right now. There's kids everywhere and I'm trying to get this done quickly. But my HCG levels, I think that's what it is, were still at 2600, and they need to be below 5. So I go back on Fridays for more blood work and to follow up and see and make sure they're dropping. But yeah, that's where I am. That's what's going on. And again, if you're going through this or have been through this, I'm really sorry, and it hurts. It's not something that you just dismiss, and it's not just, you know, that's your heart, you know. I feel for you. I understand. I still never got over my first you just don't get over it. I didn't get over my first miscarriage, and I don't see me getting over this one. So I keep forgetting to add little bits of information. I know that people are gonna ask, like, you know, how the kids did when we told them, and they all found out at different times. Lainey was really upset. I think she's 5, and I think she understood. I mean, she picked out, we already had names picked out, and the girl name she had picked out, and I was actually in love with it. Boy names too. So she took it hard. Gleason took it really hard, and yeah, he kind of broke down. The other 2 boys, Cruz and Barrett, Cruz kind of just gave me a nod. I think he knew, you know, when I yelled at him and Barrett to get upstairs because I didn't want them to see me in the condition I was in, I think he probably knew something was wrong then. But when I finally, like, officially told them, they were both kind of just, Cruz didn't really say anything, and Barrett was kind of just like, he's just a little boy, and so he was just like, wait, the baby's dead? It died? And so he was kind of, he just didn't know what to make of it. I think it was hard for him to grasp. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go too into depth with how they each reacted to it, but that's their own personal thing that they're going to, you know, I don't want to invade on their personal space too much, but they're all fine now. Everybody's kind of just okay. You know, we pray over the babies, both of them. We told them about the other one too while we were at it. So we pray over them at dinner, and it kind of gives them something to look forward to when they get to heaven. I mean, they get to meet Jesus and 2 other siblings that they didn't ever get to meet. So, yeah. So I just thought I'd throw that in there. I feel bad for Tony because he's been so attentive towards me, and I've been requiring so much of his attentiveness that I haven't really, I know that it's hard on him too, and it's just, you know, we just need some time. And it's gotten a lot better over this past week. Everybody's kind of, you know. Anyways, okay, that's for real it. This video is going to be really, really long, but I think I'll want it for the future and to be able to look back on it and remember different, you know, all the different timelines and exactly what happened. And yeah, so that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.